Welcome everyone. We're here for the live demo of Juicebox. Juicebox is the most requested demo I have had, and it is also the most signed up to demo so far. So that might say something. I don't know. So we have Chris here. Unfortunately, we couldn't have David, the CEO, here. Something came up last minute, but instead we have Chris. He's one of the founding account executives at Juicebox. He's working with David very closely, and he's here to show us the product. So thank you for joining.
Thank you so much for having me. We're very excited to be here and excited to give a quick walkthrough of Juicebox today.
I'm super excited to see this too. Christian, our co-host, he's here. He is the co-founder of UnleashPeople. He's also a very experienced talent acquisition leader in the space. He's located in Germany where I am, and he's going to ask hopefully all the hard questions, or at least all the fun questions. I don't know. We're just gonna be asking questions. But thank you for joining, Christian. Appreciate the time.
Thank you, Jessie. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited. And yeah, let's see with how many spicy and juicy questions I can come up.
See if we can make Chris like sweat over there in the US.
I promise I'll be cool as a cucumber.
Cool as a cucumber.
Good,
That's what we
good,
like. So, okay, what about we start with telling us a little bit about like what is Juicebox? For someone who's just like jumping in, never seen Juicebox before in their life, never heard of it. What is this product? What does it do?
Yeah, that's a great question. So to kind of get started, Juicebox, we are an AI recruiting platform. And really what we do is we help you find, assess, and engage talent. The way we're going to do that today is we pair together over 30 different data sets from places like LinkedIn, GitHub, Crunchbase, Stack Overflow, and more with large language models, really to try to make the search process more efficient and effective. So what we'll look at today is we'll cover a lot about our search and then also get into our agents, which are really powerful features too, to help build pipelines and things like that too. So very excited to show it.
I'm actually super excited to see this. So I've never seen this before, everyone. So neither has Christian. We're both like fresh to seeing Juicebox. I think I saw back. So Stacked is the database Stacked that is my business. I think you guys know that by now. But Juicebox is a partner that one of our early adopters of the platform about a year ago now. So it's about 1 year that they've been a partner on Stacked. So very much appreciate, you guys being there. And I think back then I only saw like a bit of it, right? But a year's passed since then. So much has like happened in that year. So really this is like such a fresh demo for us that I'm excited to see like what comes out. And what about we get straight into like bring up your screen, showing us the product. And while you do that, I'm going to start with the first question, which is, obviously, this is like an add-on product, right? It's not an ATS, but it works with ATSs from what I understand. How does integration work? How easy is that? What do people need to know about integrations?
Yeah, great question. So in terms of, and sorry, I'm just sharing my screen. In terms of like ATS integrations on Juicebox, like we have over 30 different ATS integrations available. It's on one of our plans, which is our enterprise plan, which we're happy to kind of discuss and kind of talk about with different people on live calls afterwards, not on a larger group demo, but we have different ATSs that we generally pair well with. And some of the ones that are like easy access to leverage in and connect today are things like Ashby, Lever, Greenhouse, but we also pair across over 30 here. And the integration itself is pretty neat where you can start a search within our platform using a like job description to start a search. We can also show you candidates that are in your ATS, not in your ATS, and then also even do things like export profiles directly into your ATS. So there's a lot of like really great functionality, and the platform pairs very nicely with ATSs, but also can be separate too from the ATS as well and kind of act as more a great search engine.
Nice.
Do we want to jump in and start with the search, Christian, or?
Yes, let's get it going, right? So what about, senior account executive with, let's say, SaaS experience based in Germany, who can do, consultative sales.
Awesome. So what we're looking at right here, for everyone's context, this is the PeopleGPT engine of Juicebox. A lot of people may recognize the brand PeopleGPT. It's actually where the product initially came from. And really, we've built out a full platform around it. So right here, when you type in a prompt just like this, what starts to happen is we start to set filters for you. And so you'll see filters start to immediately set. And I always like to say, like, you can always just start your search by just like pressing run search and it's like, I'm talking to Google, I'm feeling lucky here. What I always recommend though on our platform is we have a full plethora of different filters we can search through here. So for example, like we took location of Germany. We can also see like different job titles that pull up, like senior account executive, enterprise account executive, sales director. Christian, do these look about right? Are there ones that you would also want to add?
So no, sales director not. That's
Yep.
too experienced. And with the enterprise, let's keep it in. Let's see how it goes and then decide.
Awesome. Another really cool feature here too is where we can actually do like find similar here, which can be helpful at least in terms of like widening up our search, pulling in different job titles. Sometimes it can be a little bit like broad too. In this case, I also may add in like the term like account executive for fun here, because I think that would be a good kind of filter to add in here.
Yeah.
Other things that you'll see when we type in a prompt just like that is you'll see like filters like company tags start to load in where we're actually pulling in like software as a service or SaaS here. So we're finding profiles. We actually have gone and done some extensive work to build company tags. It's a really neat and fun feature. I always also like to demo this companies filter because on Juicebox, like we can get very narrow in our search, or we can also be very broad too. So
can I jump in and ask, can you set anything where it's like, okay, we always want for like certain types of roles, like engineering roles, we always want to have certain tags, like always there, and then add on top of that when we prompt, or is it like templatizing these kind of things to then as a base for your company?
Yeah, so like we can build out like custom presets over here on our platform, and these presets for like companies specifically, we can upload a CSV file, pull in like a list of organizations, like a Boolean string that you would have on LinkedIn. This filter is also very dynamic, so I can say like things like show me companies similar to Google here. And this is like I'm talking to ChatGPT where it's going to go pull in like 10 different companies that are similar to Google. So you'll probably see like the Microsofts, the Apples of the world start to load in just like this. And if we like this list and we want to save it across different roles, we can. Some cool things we can also do with this is you can also do like, we want to see people during like specific years at these different organizations, or if like startup experience is really important too. We can even say like, we want someone that was at one of these companies during like a specific funding round and things like that too. So it can get very dynamic.
Cool.
So when we're at the companies already, right? Because when I do direct search, I'm actually super interested in what the company is doing. So for sure, I can add a list of companies I know what they are doing, and I know that there's an overlap between their product solution and our solution. But what about companies where that's not super clear, right? Is there a functionality that kind of shows you what they are selling? Because software as a service is so broad and no offense meant, right? For that search, I actually don't want people who sell HRIS software or the next e-commerce platform, right? So I need to have some specific,
more like industry or
Yeah. And so there's a couple things you could do. Like in our main filter section, like we can search for people like say fintech, or we don't want HR tech to show up here. And we can even turn those like specific industries off in our search, which is pretty neat kind of functionality. We can also, when we run a search and we actually get past the filter section, this is now the actual profile section here where we can open up and say, I didn't know anything about Figma or wanted to learn about Figma. Within a profile, I can actually click into this and get like a full snapshot into the company of Figma, see a little bit of information too about like the brief description here. I can even open up Figma's website if I wanted to as well, and see even like funding stage background and funding stage history, sales headcount too over time. And there's some really cool graphics we can do on our platform. We also make it very easy to search and kind of dive deep. So even just looking at like, okay, we can see like in the sales division or sales department at Figma, like the next employers are things like Cursor, Harvey, Notion, those types of organizations. And then we can actually even explore all the different profile headcounts at Figma across the world, or even like in Germany specifically. So when I was mentioning getting kind of really tailored around that, we could do that pretty quickly. And we also have a really powerful feature within our search. So we've looked at filters, we've looked at search. Kind of the traditional way of search has always been to kind of go one by one through each profile. This autopilot function here can actually do a lot of that for us. And so this is where we can say we don't want someone Like we could say should not be selling HRIS.
Mm.
And maybe we want to see someone that's went to President's Club or Achieved Club. We can type that in here and we can kind of adjust these around. And this will start being like a stacked rank prompting here to kind of go through each profile one by one, say like, yes, this profile meets the match. No, it doesn't meet the match, and kind of why it doesn't meet the match. Are there, like, Christian, out of like curiosity, when you do searches for like roles like this, are there like specific characteristics in profiles that you find like better account executives with?
I actually try to avoid titles, to be very honest. Usually I do a keyword search that is screening the complete profile because I'm looking for specifics like whatever, like hunting, specific
Rather looking for the
knowledge
skills.
when it comes to SaaS or IoT, right? And I'm always looking for that. The titles are so different throughout the companies that they're actually not they don't tell you a lot about what they're actually doing. And when I look for a hunter and I have account executive, whatever, search criteria, quite often there are a lot of farmers in there as well, who just do key account management. And for whatever reason, they still have a title that is more on the hunting side. So I'm always interested in seeing or kind of evaluating the complete profile and then see highlighted what I'm looking for in the profile. That still means I need to screen all the profiles because apparently I want to see a lot of stuff. And that's actually one of the questions I have here. So you still show all profiles. You do some kind of ranking, right? That
Correct.
is based on the search criteria, but you do not give only whatever 10 like a short list of 10 people. I still can go through all the profiles and then apparently also refine the search filters according to what I'm looking for.
Exactly. Yeah. And so even like from what you did there, like I even took like from talking about hunting, like that's a great term. I love when sellers mention hunting because it's part of the role. And so like you can even have our Autopilot go through one by one through each of these and kind of look for words that mention hunting on their profile, or even look for people that have been through specific organizations without having to tie it to a skill word. We also, in our filters, we do have pretty dynamic skill words too, where you can say like, show me people that have hunting or consultative sales is like how it's currently set up. But that's a good way to kind of sift through the profiles pretty quickly. And like, as you mentioned, our search and our Autopilot are tied together. So we're looking at the first 1900 profiles here, but we can edit this, adjust it. And then we can also rerun the Autopilot, be very iterative on our approach here, and then go one by one through each of these profiles. And it's going to act more as a stack ranking here. And so like you can go through this profile, see them load up.
I like this why we matched. It's pretty clear. Like it shows where the information's coming from. I think that's really important that it's a really clear, obvious like reasoning.
Yeah. And transparency, like just in terms of AI and just in terms of like the product itself, like we're always going to be transparent in like where we're trying to like pulling this information up for you and like trying to answer the question of like, okay, why does the AI say that this is a fit or not a fit? And like, we're actually coming out with some cool feature functionality, which is going to even make this cool view even better.
Yeah. And I know you guys are working with Warden as well. Warden AI, they do bias assurance, I believe.
Correct.
So I think that's also something to note that's really important when it comes to these tools, that you care about that.
Yes, and we are CCPA GDPR compliant. We actually list this all out on our website. We have a trust center, which I can link afterwards. And part of that trust center too, we do a lot of work with Warden to make sure our AI in terms of isn't biased, to really be in compliance with a lot of the major regulations that are out there, like New York Law 144. Which is the big one that a lot of organizations look for.
Someone's asking in the chat on LinkedIn if we can look for a quality technician in California.
Awesome. Yeah, and that's what we can do too is everything we've looked at right now is a kind of the quick search in terms of our platform. That's actually a good segue to jump into our agents, which are really like, this is a really powerful feature in terms of Juicebox. It's a great way to like help build pipeline and things like that. So for example here, like I can pull up and type in the prompt like quality if I could spell. I love AI because
Yeah, it'll correct you
Cool.
even if you're wrong.
Yeah, exactly. It always corrects me. Quality technicians, say tech.
They've written a very long other message under here with like I think skills and other stuff, but I'd have to like copy paste it to you. I think it's too hard to do that. So we'll just go with the high level
Awesome. We'll
for
say
now.
quality technicians. Is there a specific industry in California that they want to focus on?
I don't know. Let's see. Did they write that? No, I don't think so. Inspect and evaluate color, material, and finish, compounds for compliance. No, there's a lot of things there, but I don't think so. Let's just go with
Awesome. We'll keep it kind of high level here. And
we'll keep
so
it high
the
level, we'll
way
see what comes up.
Yeah, so the way this feature works is a little different than our main search. So everything we've looked at so far, like we're in control, we're telling you like specifically the different filters that we're setting up. Now with our agent, this is more of the autonomous workflow that you can set up with Juicebox. The way our agents work is we start going through this calibration phase here, where we're going to have 3 different profiles kind of spin up, and a little bit about each of these profiles will start to load in here. Since we just said quality technician or quality engineers in California, it's kind of a broad search and there's no criteria that's set, but we can see the profiles that's kind of starting to spin up. And I can provide in this section here feedback where I can say like, this is not a fit because first off, I don't like Jabble as a company, nothing against the organization, but I'm just using it as an example here. And maybe I want like a quality technician now, not in the past. So I can say, no Jabble, please. And no,
Yep.
And so what happens now in our like agent workflow is we'll start to build 3 more profiles.
They said automotive now. Sorry, comment came through automotive industry, but doesn't matter. We're on the path. Sorry.
Yeah, we can work that back into it too as well. But what happens here is we start to provide you with like 3 more results to essentially search through. And so this will give us kind of a broader range here of like the different results. Again, we have like full profile views where you can read through the profile. And in this calibration flow, like I always like to say, put it on guardrails or also keep it more broad and open-ended for roles that may be a fit. I can also make a criteria here that says like should be in the automotive industry.
Yep. And then after that, we have one more coming in saying, can we see analytics capabilities after that? So once we've done this in agent, we can look at maybe analytics as well, if that's part of the demo, if we're allowed to see that in this demo. If we get there.
I'm always happy to show everything. I love showing off our product because there's a lot of really cool applications we can do. But let's jump into kind of like the agent. The workflow here is once we've gone through and approved these 3 profiles, what happens here is it's more of an open-ended search. So like before we like closed-ended, it looked at like these different profiles. Once we actually go through and I say like, this is a good fit, this is another good fit, and then this is a good fit. So like those 3 matches here. I then get the option to do email sequencing from our platform. So Juicebox, didn't mention it before, but we have a full email sequencing platform built into Juicebox where you can send emails, drip campaigns, things like that. We have full contact data and more. So I can set this up, attach it to an email sequence, and I can choose how many contacts I want to reach out to per day, whether it's 15, 25, or 35. And then this is where the magic comes into play, where I can choose whether to review individually or reach out automatically. Where if I trust the agent, what it's producing, I can pull up and send 25 emails per day to these candidates to really help me build a pipeline and build pipeline funnel faster. Review individually also gives us the ability to kind of break this down, give our AI more feedback here to learn off you and really get more iterative. When I select yes, start sourcing, the AI will go out and source these candidates for us and be very consistent in terms of pulling up those 25 profiles a day until I tell it to stop or I reassign it or I readjust it or recalibrate it. Humans have like full control over these agents too, in terms of like whether they want to readjust some of the language in what it's searching for, or even like readjust some of the profiles it's going after. It's a really powerful feature that's built into the Juicebox, and it works really well hand in hand in terms of like our main search engine, as well as also just the platform in general.
Very cool.
I have 2 more questions before we go into the reporting piece, right, and the analytics piece, because they tie more into that one here. The first one is very, very operational, right? Because usually you just do not do one search and then do a next search the next day. Sometimes you have a longer search, so you review profiles today and then you continue reviewing profiles tomorrow.
Yep.
Is there some kind of functionality that I don't have to scroll through everything I did the day before, and they are marked as already screened, read, and I don't have to do the whole thing all over again, because that's super annoying.
Yeah, I
Know what
completely.
you are in the list of people. Orientation in the data.
I love it. So Juicebox saves like where you last were in a search. One of the things I love about the way our folders are set up here, or our projects on our platform, is like we can be very collaborative across team members, but we also save where you last were in the search, depending on like when you clicked out of it. And then we also will do things like monitor like who's viewed a profile. So if we have a full team on the platform, like we can filter out profiles in our search by viewed by me or viewed by anyone in this organization across this project, really to like help us analyze this more efficiently. And all of this data on our platform is going to be within the profile. Like we will track that information to give you insights so you can see like who's viewed them, any notes that you've left on the profile, if this profile is in your ATS or not in your ATS, things like that will all be kind of paired into Juicebox too.
Okay, cool.
One feature I forgot to also mention in our like main search is this insights page. This is a really powerful feature when it comes to like showing you what's available in your search, and can be really helpful when you're talking to a hiring manager of like, we found this many profiles, and it's a really hard search that we're working with, but we can break this down by company. We can also break this down by like accounts, job titles, and all of this is really interactive too. So I can even click into this and say like, I only want to look at enterprise account executives. And again, one of the cool things about Juicebox is you can be very iterative and very quickly search through candidates really fast. And a lot of what we see from our customers is they're finding talent much faster than they were using more traditional platforms too.
Very, very
Good.
cool.
So next question, and then we go to analytics. Sorry about that. Outreach, right? So how does outreach work? Because sometimes we don't have an email address, right? So you need to send them whatever via LinkedIn or Xing. How does that work?
Yep. So in terms of outreach on Juicebox's platform, we partner with different like contact data providers like Contact Out, Rocket Reach, People Data Labs, MixRank, and more, where we can help you find like personal emails, professional emails, phone numbers, things like that within our system. We also have a full sequencing tool, like I mentioned before, where we can actually generate out new email campaigns. We can even make it like multi-channel outreach and set up like full drip campaigns directly from Juicebox. You can schedule when these emails go out. You can also send on behalf of, if you're a larger team. There's a lot of different ways to kind of set this up. And we allow you to do that outreach when there's no like, for example, like no email associated, we couldn't find an email. Like we generally recommend changing it into like a LinkedIn connection request or LinkedIn message. And it's not an automated system on LinkedIn, but it does give you the ability, like we do give you like task reminders to copy and paste that message and do execute the task within LinkedIn.
Okay. Yep.
Good. And I can also create my own message, right?
Correct.
That then gets customized to the respective person.
Correct.
Sorry, I have so many questions, because sometimes when we take a look at LinkedIn or whatever, we have those fancy emoticons in the name and stuff, so that people figure out that they get contacted by automation or AI. Is there a way to get over that or to get rid of that, and to really then use the first name of the person, no matter what's before or after the name?
Yeah, so in terms of like our sequencing, we do a lot of things to try to make it more human, more like approachable. And like as I was demoing here actually, is like when you send out like a bulk email campaign, you can go through this and you can actually edit the email before it goes out to like hyper personalize it. We actually find a lot of like the most successful like people that leverage our sequencing tool do a lot more hyper personalization. Some of the like automated, I want to call it automated hyper personalization that we offer on our like email sequencing is we have these really awesome features called smart AI commands, just like this, where we can give it match the tone of your email as well as match it based off the profile that we have and say like, here is specifically why you are a fit to a certain role. And it's a pretty neat feature in that sense. And then where we also see a lot of like driving a lot of response rates when it comes to email sequencing is also like the frequency of which you outreach to people. So you can send multiple steps in a campaign to really drive response rates and things like that. And kind of on the analytics side too, like we will track things like open rates, reply rates, click rates, interested rates by email address, by like sequence as well. And it's all going to live within Juicebox, within the system too.
Amazing. Well, did we see all the analytics or not yet? No.
So in terms of like analytics, like we can get pretty detailed in terms of like email analytics. We also have like usage analytics. Analytics is, I always like to say, is kind of like a broad term of like specifically what we're looking for. But in terms of like outreach statistics, like we have very dynamic dashboards that can get pretty in depth with that. In terms of like team usage analytics, we also can monitor and tell you things like how many searches the team members run for like more management purposes. And we're also building a lot of feature functionality within the platform too, to like adopt and really pair well with your ATS to identify things like time to hire, things like that too, will all be really built within Juicebox too as well.
Okay, very cool. Well, we are out of time. We have 1 minute. So thank you everyone who's joined in, asked questions. I can't see LinkedIn right now. I hope we didn't miss anything, but I tried to get a couple of the questions that came in early when I checked. And appreciate the time. Thank you very much for joining, Chris, all the way from the US, and Christian, thank you for asking some relevant questions around what we're going to do if you were basically looking for a tool. And if you want to find out more about Juicebox, you can reach out to the team. I think someone is going to drop something in the chat or the chat in the event for afterwards. And if there's any questions that were there, maybe the team can get back to them if we missed any. So thank you again. You can also find them on Stacked, of course. And so you can check them out there as well if you don't want to jump into a sales cycle just yet. And Christian, again, thanks for joining. Appreciate the time. So we'll leave it there. We'll say goodbye and thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And feel free to test out our platform for free online. It's just at juicebox.com or juicebox.ai. Either works, and you can test out our product for free too. It's pretty neat search functionality.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.
Amazing. Thank you, everyone. Bye.